So on this particular day, I set out of the house on my bicycle to go meet some friends at a tennis court. Earlier in the week, I discussed with a friend of mine who was part of a tennis club here in Bristol. And he told me they meet every Saturday in the morning, play for about 2 hours. And so I've always nurtured this desire to, get into tennis. So I looked forward to the opportunity to join, or at least to start playing tennis. This was going to be my first time. So I set out of the house. The weather was good, the sun was shining, and the ride was going to take me about 12 minutes. As I cycled along, I took the opportunity to test some settings on my DJI Action 4 camera, because the last time I used it to record my cycling adventure, the footage came out very shaky and had a very poor quality, and I was determined not to let that happen again. So I watched a few tutorials and I was able to get some recommendations on the best settings to get very stable, smooth footage while recording an action sport like cycling or any other kind of sport that involves a lot of movement. So this ride, I was able to test it and it turned out pretty well, if you can see from the screen. This is footage from the DJI Action 4 attached to my bicycle, and the road is not as smooth as it looks, so that means that the settings really worked and the footage was really stable. It made me realize how sometimes we think we know something inside out, only to find out that there's so much more to learn when it comes to putting it into practice. All this while I thought, hey, I have the DJI Action 4 camera. All I need to do is put it on and go out for a ride and I'll get excellent footage all the time. And that didn't happen the last time. I got to the court, I locked up my bike, took some water, and then I went in and met some new friends. First time I'm playing tennis ever, since I don't know whether I've ever played it before, sir. Even as a child. It's quite interesting, eh? Now it's important to us because we're getting older. I told them this was my first time trying tennis, and they all greeted me with encouragement, saying, this time last year it was the same story for me, so don't worry, you're in a good place. We all started from somewhere. It was really nice, really encouraging to hear them say that. And as we started to play, I found myself laughing at myself. It's one thing to think that you can play tennis or any sport or do anything. It's another thing to actually do it. So despite the initial awkwardness, I found that it was really quite fun. And I was really having a good time. And I think I really quickly got into the whole thing because a couple of the guys were saying that, for a starter, I have some really good moves, really good control. And that was also encouraging. I think if I make this a regular activity, I might just become really good at tennis. It's just interesting how you think you're familiar with some things until when it's time to do them. It's just the same way I felt about cycling. When I started cycling properly, I felt like, it's not just cycling. I've cycled many times before, but my first ride it almost killed me. And so tennis also, as I just got here, I just realized that all this while I thought, it's no big deal until I realized that I didn't even have the moves. So after a rough start, I think I'm getting much better in terms of my control, the way I handle the bat and all that, and it's been a good experience. Just taking a short break to rehydrate. I think that's okay. Yes. On. Good anticipation. It's coming back. Let me stop this. Yeah, you want to stop? That's a good rally to take for the day. Yeah, thank you. I just finished like a round of tennis, and it was great. Getting my dose of sunlight and fresh air, which is really important for health. We all know that, especially in this part of the country or this part of the world where sunlight is not so abundant. Let me use that word. And it's so easy to get bogged down with work and all that. And besides, just getting out of the house to socialize and meet other people. So I met a couple of guys here. Hopefully they become people I see every weekend, and so you get to know people, meet people, and learn from them. And it was fun. My back is hurting. My back feels stiff. My back and my joints, my muscles, they all feel stiff. I think I need to be doing a lot of stretching. Stretch the muscles, stretch the back. Good day. Definitely would love to do this again next weekend. Fellas playing at the other side of the park. So I'm done for the day. Ready to move now. It's generally a good day of sports because I was able to cycle and I'm cycling back. And then I played maybe about an hour of tennis. When you subtract the time to rest and talk and chat. Oh, I forgot my face cap. You never really know something until you've tried it. It's one thing to know about something from reading it. It's another thing to know about something from actually doing it or applying what you've learned. If you're a photographer or a creative, a graphic designer, anything, and you read about a particular technique or you read about a particular gear, or even if you buy it and you own it, you never really know it until you've used it. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is get busy trying things. Don't sit around, don't be lazy, don't assume that you know anything until you've tried it, because even what you think you know, you do not really know until you make mistakes. Sometimes making mistakes is the best way to learn. Sometimes making mistakes is the best way to learn. Well, back is all good and ready. This is what I was trying to tie up. I'm going to add some weight to the bike, but then if it's not on the bike, it will be on my back, so it's still the same weight I'm working with. And it's covering my lights, but I don't really need the light to be... Oh, the light is actually on. I think I should just remove this thing from here. Yes, I'm going to remove it from here and put it in the front. If you guys are not looking at my password, turn it away. There you go. You can see the light is on. Let me put it in here. Yeah, perfect. My phone is going to come here as well. So I'm going to set my course back. Google Maps, where are you? Home. Cycling. Start. Eventually, after about an hour and a half, it was time to head back home. And Even the guys at the tennis court were also going home. So I hopped back on my bike and began the ride home. I couldn't help feeling grateful for the day's adventure. It was a day of learning, a day of growth, and most importantly, a day spent doing what I'd always wanted to do for a long time. Have you ever heard the saying, you never really know something until you try it? It's a thought that is really profound. Many of us fall into the trap of believing that knowledge can be gained, just by reading about things or learning about something. We just assume that once we go for that seminar or go for that course, then we know all the stuff that we went to learn. Books, courses, and tutorial videos can offer valuable insights, but to really understand something, you have to try it, you have to do it, you have to practicalize it. Just like acquiring equipment or tech gear, those of us who are photographers or creatives, it's one thing to buy a new camera, buy a new lens, buy a new software or a new laptop, but it's a totally different thing to become an expert. True mastery comes from commitment, practice, and embracing the journey of learning. True mastery comes in the doing and the experimenting, and yes, even the failing, because it's in making mistakes and failing that real learning happens. Like just the way I took my DJI action camera on the last ride and I got very bad footage. I lost all of that footage. Like I felt like it was a wasted effort, because all the time I was recording, at the end of the day I couldn't even use any of the footage. But you see, mistakes aren't really setbacks, even though they feel like setbacks. They're actually stepping stones on the path to proficiency. So we have to be willing to make mistakes and invest resources, whether it's time, money, or effort. Once you're willing to do all of that, you open the door to growth. And it's through this process of trial and error that you refine your skills and you deepen your understanding and you truly acquire knowledge. So the next time you're tempted to think that reading about something or owning the right tools is enough, remember this: knowledge is not a passive acquisition. It's an active pursuit. You have to dive in, you have to embrace the challenges, and you have to let your journey of learning unfold. Because in the end, it's not about what you know in theory, but what you can do in practice that really counts. Just like in my mind, I've always thought that playing tennis is not going to be so hard. But then getting on the court today, I realized that it's really a whole different ballgame once you're out there trying something out. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this video insightful. If you did, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. So until next time, until the next video, keep learning, keep growing, and never stop trying to be more, to do more, to have more.